let's do basketball now here, because I think this is really what this conference is going to be known for, is the basketball conference. And
can we just get out of the way and put Kansas S tier?
Yeah, do you want to go tier by tier? Or you want to just continue to go? Let's just continue to go from where we're at.
Fair.
So let's go ahead. Where do you think Baylor is at? Because this is a team that was 23-11 last year, and they're not too far removed from being a top tier program in the nation. We know how difficult the Big 12 is just as a conference. But what do you think about Baylor?
My gut reaction was A tier. This is a program that's got some guys to the NBA, a program that has been pretty successful this year. I mean, they've been in the tournament 3 straight years, 4 of the last 5. I mean, that to me is if you're a college basketball program, your goal is to be making the tournament. You're doing that damn near every year. You
deserve some love.
Yeah. And only a couple of years away from a national championship.
Yeah, look at their wins, dog. Their wins last year, they beat Kansas. Okay, they beat UCLA, and they beat Gonzaga. Yeah, those. I mean, I would put those 3 wins up with just about anybody else.
I would agree. I think for me, the basketball thing is going to be a little different. S tier is going to be reserved for just pure blue bloods. Being an S tier college basketball program, I think, means something different than it does being an S tier football program.
And again, in the Big 12, it's a little bit of a gauntlet that you're going to have to go through.
Yeah. So to accomplish what Baylor's accomplished, I think that makes them an A tier program for sure.
I will absolutely agree with that. Baylor as an A tier program. BYU. Now, I'm going to be a little ignorant here because I don't really know what the hell.
I was going to say, has BYU basketball been relevant since Jimmer Fredette? Like, respectfully, I don't know
what they're about,
like anything about BYU basketball.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about BYU basketball. Just looking at their schedule from last year, they lost to San Diego State, who we know had a ridiculous run. But you look at their schedule, they didn't really beat anybody. They had a 3-point win over Creighton. Yeah, and that was a team that kind of surprised.
Only 1 point loss to Gonzaga,
and then another 7-point loss to Gonzaga too.
1 point loss to St. Mary's.
But you got to look. I feel like part of this is you look at the wins, you look at the losses, and this is a team that doesn't really have any wins that necessarily stand out to me.
Yeah, they were staying close with. Yeah, I mean, it's a program that I know damn near nothing about, which I think is a little indicative of who they are as a program.
They did beat San Francisco by 26 points, which ASU couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, you go back 2 years ago, they have they have wins over Utah and the number 12 Oregon. Whoa.
What?
2021 season, they beat then 12 ranked Oregon 81-49.
Oh God,
Jesus. Lost to number 2 Gonzaga. 2 losses to Gonzaga. Yeah,
I'm with Carter in the chat. I think this is probably a C tier program.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. They're not like an abjectly miserable program, but they really are not doing a whole lot. No. So I think that's fair.
And I think it again, similar to the way it is going to be tough for a team to be S tier. It is like, oh my gosh, that
fucking tornado spot on. I do wipe standing up.
Oh my god,
BYU just waits for the great white wipe. Dude, Jimmer Fredette. I thought Jimmer Fredette was going to win them a national championship. That dude was cold. He was cold.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what do you know about Cincinnati?
Oh boy.
Good job picking up on that logo, too, because it's literally just not there.
I mean, I feel like, the absence. That's another one I don't know a whole lot about, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, gosh.
What
do we know about Cincinnati basketball? Anything?
Oh, no, I don't have any internet, so I can't look stuff up anymore.
Okay, then let's go with some of the programs that we do know. Houston.
That kind of feels like an A-tier program, too. I mean, it's a program that's definitely been a benefactor of not having as much competition, not being in a Power 5. But, I mean, this is one that's been in the mix of tournaments the last few years as one of the higher seeds. A or B, yeah. I'd be willing to listen to them being B. It's just they've been playing at such a high level over the last few years. Like, it seems like they're a perennial top 5 seed in the tournament. So. Okay. That's kind of where my mindset is at, but
let's go ahead and put them in A tier then. I think that's probably where they belong. Okay. What about, there's a couple different options here, because let's go Kansas.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's get them out of the way. They're an S tier.
Okay.
An S tier.
Now, why do you think you mentioned the difference in S tier for basketball and S tier for football? Why is it different in basketball, specifically in the Big 12?
I mean, I think not every conference necessarily has blue bloods in football. The way, like, you look at we were obviously doing this in the context of the Big 12. There is not a Kansas basketball in terms of Big 12 football without Texas and Oklahoma. There is not one of those programs that you hear it, you're like you ask basketball schools and Kansas gets brought up every time.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not the case for any of the schools as far as football is concerned in the Big 12. I think that is the case with Kansas, and I think there's a handful of schools like that within college basketball. So I just feel like when you're talking about college basketball, you look at S tiers in a conference like this, it is probably only 2 schools, if I'm being honest.
Okay, then I am totally comfortable with Kansas at S.
Also, jokes on you, Tornadoes. Sean does not like chocolate.
Yeah, he doesn't like chocolate, but I feel like that's going to come back to also.
And I also eat white chocolate Kit Kats. But part of the fun at Kit Kats is snapping them and the crack when you bite them.
Yeah, it's the whole point of a Kit Kat.
Otherwise,
that's the point.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Cincinnati now. Cincinnati, just taking a look at what they did last year. This is, again, a program that's similar to BYU, where you look at what they did and there's not a whole lot that jumps out to you. I mean, they lost to Houston 3 different times.
Yeah, they lost to Arizona by 8.
Yeah, and those games against Houston, they're not blowout losses, really. But again, part of it, you can lose to good teams, but you have to also take some wins somewhere. And I don't see anything.
American was good. American had some good teams in it, man.
But I just don't see anything that really jumps out to me.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking through their schedule and the teams they played. Yeah, they put them C tier as well. I don't know. Are we going to have any
D tier teams?
We might have some D tier teams.
Yeah, I think UCF might be.
I think KSU might be D tier.
Whoa! I'm gonna fight you over here, bro. You hop over to the D-backs podcast and you immediately turn on Bobby fucking Hurley. What are we doing, man? Okay, what about Iowa State? What do you know about Iowa State basketball?
HK, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're average. Okay? Yeah, they were 9-9 in the Big 12 last year, 19-14. Overall, they were really good at home. They were 13-3 on the year at home, and then they were really, really, really bad on the road. They were 3-8 on the road, 3-3 neutral sites. I feel like for the purpose of this whole thing, I feel like Iowa State and Cyclones or Tornadoes, you can hop in here and let us know what you think. But I feel like it might have to be a C tier team as well.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
You can live with Iowa State. You're not going to toss and turn in the middle of the night?
No.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and put Iowa State in the C tier. I think that fits them. Kansas State. This is, oh man, dude, Kansas State was so fun last year.
Yeah.
I was rooting for them so bad.
That shit was. I think they're a B tier team.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the sustained success as of late for me to really want to put them up there, but I mean, they made a run in the tournament.
God, they were so good at home
to
last
make
year.
You anything less than B tier would be disrespectful.
They were 15-1 at home last year. That's crazy.
Damn.
Right.
This is
a tough conference, man. When it comes to basketball, all right, let's go ahead and put
conference, man.
Let's put Kansas State in the B tier section. Kind of awesome what Kansas State athletics has done over the last handful of seasons.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can. I don't think people were necessarily expecting that for a certain amount of time. So we still got a handful of schools to do in terms of the basketball tier rankings, and we're going to do that. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Circle K. Guys, I got locations all over the valley, and Sean, I'm going to be vulnerable with you. Okay, I've been to Circle K more times today than I've been to the bathroom. Literally. Yeah. Circle K, they have everything you need. Not just great prices on gas, but I stop there every day for an energy drink.
I got my gas there this morning.
Every day for a Gatorade. Like, they've got it all over at Circle K. Drinks, snacks, gas, and great deals too. Buy Powerade at $4 for $5 and be entered. And you could be one of 10 finalists entered to win a 2023 Ford Big Bend Bronco SUV. Guys, make sure you're not missing out on all the great stuff. And right now, text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club. It's that easy, guys, and you're going to get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Again, text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Guys, go do it. Circle K. It's the one-stop shop for everything you need.
It's perfect because you get yourself a big Polar Pop, and nothing goes better with a big Polar Pop And a nice big breakfast burrito. Yeah. Or a lunchtime burrito. Whatever you got. I saw some of the ASU football players out at Burrito Express after practice, or our boy Jalen. It's simply the best.
I got 3 burritos from Burrito Express last week.
Damn.
Yeah. I was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Damn. Yeah. Why don't you spread it out a little bit? Monday, Wednesday.
Yeah, once you have it's hot out there, dude. Yeah. So you have one, or you're hungry, go out, you have one, and then you're like, oh damn, this really hit. This really hit. Check it out, guys.
They do. They got so many good flavors. Yeah, you got to check them out. Make sure you follow them on Twitter at BurritoXP to see the latest happening with them, all the things they do with ASU athletes, and all the fun happenings in the life of Angel.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Angel is amazing.
Honestly, even if you never eat a burrito, which you should, just following them on Twitter it's a fun follow.
It's the best burrito in the Big 12, and it's not even
fucking close.
All right, let's get back to these tier rankings because we do have some more fun teams to get to, guys. Let's start with Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State's a weird one because they are widely irrelevant, and then all of a sudden Cade Cunningham shows up, and they're really relevant for a year, and then they were irrelevant again.
Even last year, though, right? 20-16 was their record. That's not a bad record by any means.
There's just not really any bad teams in this conference, man.
Not when it comes to basketball, dude.
No, it's this is the conference of champions as far as basketball is concerned. It is really good.
So to put it in context, this is a team that was 20-16 last year, right? In overall, 20-16 with that same record and avoiding conference play, they would have been in between Arizona State and Washington State in the Pac-12.
They finished 4th from last in the Big 12,
and they would have been 6th in the Pac. I don't think they're a B tier team.
Yeah,
though.
I'm inclined to put them C tier too. They really haven't accomplished anything. And again, in a conference like this, you need to accomplish some things, and having Cade Cunningham there for a year is not enough for me to consider you relevant.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, I'm with you. C tier. LFG in the chat. Why isn't the third host on air lately? Shane's on vacation. He's gonna be back. He's enjoying his time. So Shane is gonna be right back around the corner here pretty soon, starting this week. Okay, TCU basketball. TCU basketball leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Do you know why, Sean?
Of course I know why. You gotta talk about all that. Especially because I lost to U of A the year before, and then they come and beat. Anyways,
but they were another average program, 9-9 in the Big 12, 22-13 overall. But again, you got to take that overall record, with a grain of salt because the Big 12 is a gauntlet.
Yeah, I'm
on three. On three, we say where we put them. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
B.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about it because I do feel like they're at a different level. I feel like Kansas State deserves more respect than TCU, but TCU is one game in the tournament. They deserve more. They deserve TCU's B.5 to me. They're B.5. They're right in the middle there.
Okay. I'm absolutely for that then. Texas Tech. That's another interesting one because this is a program that every few years I feel like just comes out of left field and dominates, but last year was not one of those years.
Yeah, I feel like Tech is they are a C tier if they didn't go to the national championship that one year, I think. And I think the fact that they reached the national championship, that's another thing that makes college basketball so difficult. Yeah, I feel like, recency, they were fucking 5-13 in conference last year. Recency, they sucked, but also recency, they've been to a national championship in the last few years. I feel like those things got to cancel out and got to put them B tier, but I don't feel great about that either.
I feel real bad putting them in the same tier as Kansas State.
As do I. But I feel like, again, they were in the national championship a couple of years ago. Putting them at the same level as those other schools doesn't seem fair either.
What do you think, Jacob? And what do you think, chat, too?
I think gut feeling tells me that you're right with B tier.
B tier?
Big 12 people telling us A tier.
For Texas Tech?
Yeah. I mean, Cole and Rick saying A tier. They were not good last year, man. And they haven't really been good all that.
They haven't been good much. They weren't good last year, and I don't know what the trajectory of them is this year. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Texas Tech in the. This is tough, man. This might be the toughest one.
It is because you don't have schools that have kind of gone that they went from the top to the bottom so fast.
Should we give them the benefit of the doubt? B tier.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, let's give them benefit of the doubt. We got people in the chat telling us B tier. They win the national championship. Give them benefit of the doubt. Put them B tier.
I can absolutely live with that. All right, UCF. This is where I think we get the first D tier team. UCF basketball.
Yeah.
Not very good.
Dude, just
looking at what they did against some of the teams that we have in the C tier, it wasn't a strong season for the Knights. And I'm be honest, I don't ever remember a time of UCF basketball being worth a damn. So I'm gonna have to say UCF basketball is D tier.
Yeah, I can live with that. For sure.
All right, you shit on West Virginia football. Are you gonna do the same for basketball?
No, I mean West Virginia's in a weird spot because of what's going on in this offseason.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, like that has been a pretty solid picture of consistency in the Big 12. I feel like not
Creasa, baby.
Yeah, right. Not too good, not too bad. They were just always kind of there. They're also, man, they were.
I kind of want to put them C tier. They're not D.
They're definitely not D. Yeah, I feel like C tier's got it. That one doesn't. Yeah, I feel like C tier
for bad teams.
Yeah, they're definitely not D. It almost feels weird because of how they've been relevant for so long with Huggins and all that. But you add the fact that they lost that, and I feel like C tier just with
Yeah, LFG in the chat, losing Huggins hurts West Virginia hoops for
big
sure.
time.
Glenn says West Virginia is B.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've been around and they've been playing good basketball for years, but they just lost the architect of that program. They lost the face of that program.
I'm gonna say West Virginia is D, but I will live with a C.
I doubt they're definitely not D. They've been too good for too long, and I think they have too much credit in that regard. I'll put them C. I can't.
And I know they had the architect of the program, but let's be real, the program wasn't that great last year.
No. Yeah, that's a very fair point, and I think he was starting to lose a grip on it a little bit. But they still have been around for a while, playing good basketball. But yeah, I think C tier is probably fair.
Okay, back to the pack we go here. Utah football we know is pretty ridiculous. Utah basketball is average in terms of the Pac-12, which makes me think that they're going to be below average now that they are headed to the Big 12. It's a team that was 10-10 in conference play last year. And guess what? They had games against Cal, Oregon State, Stanford. Like, those are gimme wins. And then overall, this was a team that finished just above 500 at 17-15. But they finished the season losing 6 in a row. So, not great. I'm inclined to say that Utah is a D tier program.
I'm inclined to too. I just feel like even when they were good at points last year, that was them overachieving. Like that last year was like kind of their peak. They're not really a program worth much of a damn.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go Utah D tier. Colorado. This is the way that we are going to talk about Colorado is very different than the way that Shane would talk about Colorado, because Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, got themselves a ridiculous recruit, if not one of the best players in the nation.
I think. Yeah.
But you look again at what they did last year. They finished worse than Utah last year in terms of conference record. They were 8-12. They were 18-17 overall. They were 4-6 in their last 10. And for what it's worth, like, we've watched this Colorado team. We know how difficult it is to go play in Colorado.
Same thing applies to Utah, though.
Again, though, you're combining the trajectory and what they've done recently.
Yeah, the trajectory makes me want to put them C because of the recruits that they've gotten. And I mean, I know, college basketball is kind of one of those things where you get a couple of good players that can really turn things around. But I mean, again,
this is a tough one, man.
This is tough. Oh, man.
Tornado's back at it.
No,
Sean,
I know.
You don't use your turn signal.
How come
you bum at the end?
How come you never get shit on?
It seems like West Virginia was the one that set the chat off the most, though. Seems like a majority of the chat felt like West Virginia was a B.
That's
B tier.
West Virginia is tough. I think that is definitely, like, no disrespect, but that's definitely a product of you being out here on the West Coast. Because I feel back in the East, West Virginia is always, they were a Big East team, so they were always a part of all of those schools, and then they were the Big 12 and Huggins and that.
That Javon Carter team, they were some dogs. Yeah. Defensively, they're very, very tough to beat.
Okay.
Getting back to Colorado,
I think they're C.
I think they're C too, probably because they're similar to Utah, but they have hope and a trajectory that Utah simply does not have.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I'll go ahead and I'll put them at C tier then.
Yeah.
Now this is another interesting one because you're gonna get flack.
I don't think this is a question. I think they're a clear A tier.
Okay, there would be an argument though for. No, there's no argument whatsoever.
No, there's an argument that people from down south will make that they're an S tier team, but they're not. You can't sit here and claim that you are on the same level as these blue bloods. You don't win shit. You don't win shit.
And
you lost to Princeton.
Yeah, I was just about to say you lost to Princeton.
You got as far in the tournament as ASU. You didn't do anything.
Actually, technically, we're going from a length perspective.
Well, if we won more games in March than they did. Well, that's actually technically not true if you're just considering.
Yeah, they're a clear A team. I think they are the next best team to being in S tier. And again, this is from our perspective.
They're close. I know
Jordan in the chat. Jordan in the chat is a U of A guy. So
yeah, and I get why they want to say they're an A tier, but yeah, you can't. You have to accomplish something. Like I said, for me, that's the Blue Bloods, and U of A is not at that level yet. They don't have that level of. I know if this is not going to be responded to well because I know how U of A. They do not have the same level of like national recognition as a school like Kansas.
Yeah,
motherfuckers just don't care about U of A out here or out there. And again, that's just a kind of a West Coast thing, but they haven't won anything. They haven't won anything. I don't know to say that you're the same as Kansas when they have national championships in the last couple of decades that you don't. I don't know. They have more pros. They have. I don't know what the question. I don't think there's a question that they are not in the same tier. Now, if you want to say that they're S tier and a school like Kansas is like SS tier,
I think
because they are like a blue blood and it's different, but they're just not on the same level as Kansas.
Yeah, we got a couple of different U of A fans in the chat taking it in a bunch of different ways. A couple think we're dumbasses, which I take my cap
I love
off
Rick
to
being
you,
like,
sir.
as an Arizona fan, we're A tier. Like as if I'm not biased or anything, but I'm an Arizona fan.
I will say, I think in the context of the way we are doing this as it relates to the actual conference, where Kansas is in this conference, Houston, Baylor in this conference, I think Arizona is an A tier team. I think they have an argument for an S tier. I wouldn't be the one making that argument.
They will be heavily in the contest for the Big 12 championship every single year, especially with Texas being gone. But
in the context of the Pac-12, I think Arizona and UCLA were S tier teams.
Yes, they were on a different level, and it wasn't even close.
But now, again, you've got Kansas, and Kansas is the top dog in the Big 12, and I think I think there's only room for one S tier team in this conference, and until U of A does something to change my mind in terms of that.
I mean, look at that. I would agree in general.
They literally lost to Houston.
They literally lost.
Yeah, Arizona State. Baylor being on the same level as U of A feels a little weird because I do think at U of A is on a different level. But I mean, Houston's accomplished more than U of A. I would argue
as of late.
Yeah, they've gotten further in tournaments. They
literally beat them.
Yeah, like they've. I mean, again, if you want to
slow that down,
if you want to consider the fact that they've been. The Pac-12 is a better conference, and they've been winning those conferences than ASU or U of A has accomplished more in that sense. But in terms of what matters in March, they haven't accomplished anything.
Yeah, Reza, I can't remember the last time they were better than Baylor and Houston. Yeah, I'm totally comfortable with Arizona in the B tier or in the A tier.
I just want I sometimes the thing I hate about this format is like we get people in the comment and like I just want a real explanation as to why you would argue that it is as good as Kansas.
It's the second time Tornado's talking about your butt. This time it's Shawn, I bet you hoarded toilet paper.
That's an economically smart decision. Why would you not?
Can you hoard toilet paper and your wife standing up at the same time?
What? Why are those things mutually exclusive?
Well, I don't know if you use more when you stand up.
That's probably why you hoard toilet paper. Because you
use more?
I don't know.
You're the one. That's all you. That's all you.
Before
the bathroom holding experience.
Okay, I'd like to just say, look at the record of the last two games. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Look, for all the folks that haven't gotten the chance to watch an Arizona basketball game, this is how it usually goes. It usually goes competitive in the first half, and then Arizona.
I was talking about Kansas, but go on.
Then Arizona. Oh, you're talking Kansas, and that's fair. You're right. Arizona State's S tier. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
Arizona State's S tier.
Kansas.
This is.
Remy Martin's the best player in Big 12 history.
I think Arizona State is a C-tier program in the context of the Big 12.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate that I have to say it. But
thank God UCF and Utah came, man. That's the only thing preventing us from being D-tier in the conference. Like, I'm sorry. And it's easy for me to say because I'm not on the show every day. I don't understand why, if you're an ASU basketball fan exclusively, you would be excited about this for any reason other than the fact that you get to play different teams. This is not going to be fun for ASU basketball.
Well, no, I think it's the same context as it is for football, right? I think Arizona is an attractive location, and I think there are a lot of people that want to play top tier teams in any of these sports. And
but it's different. It's different for college basketball though, because you're just trying to get to the pros.
If you have the opportunity to go play college basketball, and your options are Arizona State, Texas Tech, and Kansas State. I would argue that Arizona State, in playing under Bobby Hurley, is the most attractive option out of those three.
I would disagree. I mean, if it's the most attractive place to play, I'd rather play in Phoenix or Tempe than Manhattan, Kansas. But ASU has not accomplished anything recently. I would argue that those other programs. Well, yeah, but you compare them to those other programs, and they haven't accomplished anything.
That's why I'm saying they're a C tier. I don't think they're a D tier program. I think there is reason to be excited.
No, yeah, I agree. I just think this is not going to be fun for ASU's basketball, and I don't think there's a whole lot of hope. I mean, also, there's 16 fucking teams in this conference.
There's a lot. Yeah,
there's a lot of teams.
It's the basketball conference, and I think you got Bobby Hurley on your side. I think we've seen Bobby Hurley have some really amazing moments. He's at his downsides, too, but you look. Like, this is a coach in Bobby Hurley that's beaten Kansas. He's beaten Arizona on Arizona's home court. He's got some phenomenal wins over UCLA. Look what they did last year in the, what's it called? The first 4 game in the NCAA tournament. Like, there is a lot of room for hope and excitement. And I think what excites ASU fans about this potential is we know what Bobby Hurley's teams have done against higher competition. Yeah, it's never been like Bobby Hurley and Arizona State. The doubts have never come when they play great teams. It is they play so up and down to their competition that the worry is that they always play up and down to their competition. Now you're in a conference where just about everybody makes the tournament. Yeah. Like, there's reason to believe that if that's truly what Bobby Hurley is capable of, then this will be his time to put up a really shutout.
Yeah, it's tough to know, obviously, what it's going to all look like. I get concerned about what this could be like, Race, because I mean, you mentioned this being the Big 12, this being a basketball conference. Some of the shit that ASU's pulled over the last few years is not going to fly. Having DFA is not going to fly forever in this conference.
No, absolutely.
The resources are different in this conference when it comes to basketball. So I don't know, man. That concerns me. Just the lack of commitment to the basketball program concerns me as far as their ability to be successful in this conference, but. They're certainly not D tier. I was kind of joking when I said that earlier. But I have said on a number of occasions that I think ASU could be kind of like the Cal of this conference, and I still feel that way.
That's disgusting.
They're going to be a bottom 3-4 team in this conference year in, year out for the foreseeable future in my mind.
Okay, man. Shawn leaves this podcast and he immediately just.
I'm just being real.